23 a.m. We continue with the show this morning on this day of Jummah. If you have just tuned in, we welcome you to the show. We trust and hope that you are going to have a wonderful Jummah, inshallah. And it's time now to go across to be joined by Sanha's theological director, Moulana Muhammad Saeed Navlakhi. Now, this comes against the background of the cancellation of Halal certification of Frimax products. A few days ago, my colleague Julie Ali had interviewed Babu Essa of Primax, and since then, Sanha has issued a statement in response to Primax, and we are now joined by Moulana Muhammad Saeed Navlakhi. Moulana, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jummah Mubarak to you and welcome.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Inayat Wadi, to you, to our team at Salam Media, and to all our listeners around Southern Africa and beyond.
Right, Moulana, let's go straight into these issues now. Obviously, you've made an announcement, you've issued a statement, Sanha, and just take us through some of the key issues that you are highlighting in the statement. We have heard what Frimax has had to say, and in all fairness, we need to give Sanha the right of reply.
Jazakallah khair, Brother Inayat. نحمده ونصلي ونسلم على رسوله الكريم. I think it is important that since this is the right of reply, that we would have given the listeners this morning some dissection of the issues raised by our brother Babu Essa of Frimax Foods, so that I could respond accordingly. But we'll go through the issues that he raised. Ours was a simple, it's a simple procedure that all our community and constituency are aware of, that when a plant is certified, we announce it to the public and let them know. And when certification is terminated, we also advise them. Yes, where a plant is haram, we'll say kindly exercise caution, or ownership is changed to a non-Muslim person, etc., etc. And it is just an alert, like in this particular instance. There was no caution, it was just simply notifying our constituency and the consumers that Sanha is no longer responsible. Primax has opted to cancel their certification, and that was it. So it wasn't even that we canceled, but Primax has cancelled. And obviously, in the program, our Babu Essa denied that they did not terminate. Now, it's absurd. I mean, look, I don't mean to come onto this program to discourage our Muslim brothers. Respectable family, we've had an association of 20 years with them, philanthropists, and. However, this is purely, and there is no dispute, really. There isn't a dispute. It was purely a decision taken by them way back in 2019 that they would not like to be certified going forward by Sanha. And every company has the right to do so. Whether you're Muslim, whether you're non-Muslim, anybody has the right, whether it's a certification agreement, whether it's a lease agreement, or any other contract. Every person has the right to cancel that agreement or certification. And we were notified in writing by them in 2019. Firstly, they obviously did not notify us that they got this intention to change. When our auditor went to the plant in May 2019, he identified some products which had the NIHT logo, some products which had a generic logo, and majority of the products which had the Sanha logo. And out of curiosity, he inquired, and he was told blatantly that, look, we are moving over. We're cancelling certification with Sanha. We're moving over to the NIHT, and it's their right to do so. Whether you go for free certification with the watchdog, whether you go with NIHT, whether you go with HASA, whether you go with the Judicial Council, that's the prerogative of every individual. So, May 2019, then we've had a meeting finally in August 2019. We've had correspondence throughout the year, September, July, August, another one in August, December, 6 only in 2020, 7. in 2020. Then we had another 6 correspondences in 2021. Generally, when a plant terminates its certification, Brother Inayat, they cannot continue to use the logo. In the case of Frimax, obviously they express that they're cancelling and they're moving over and they have a certification, the HP. The issue is all around the packaging that carries the Sanha logo. Now, if you're not certified with Sanha or don't want to be certified with Sanha, you can't, want to cancel and also continue using the logo. But being a Muslim company, being a person with whom we've had a lengthy association of decades, we gave them the opportunity to run our packaging, which we normally don't do. 2019 went from May 20, whole of 2019 went, 2020, whole of 2020 went. Initially, they told us 2020, then they said September 2021, and then they said 2024. And that was getting a bit much. I mean, anybody will understand this, but look, if you decided to cancel in 2019, 2020, the organization has given you an opportunity. 2021, now you give a date of 2024, which is absurd to the extreme. And therefore, we then wrote to them formally in October 2021 to say, listen, if they, we've passed September 2021, do we want to perhaps sit again and withdraw, revoke your cancellation notice? And we received an explicit categoric letter advising us that, look, no, our cancellation stands. We're not going to be continuing certification with Sanha. We then said, if that be the case, then February, and this was way back in October, then February 2022 is the cutoff date. So they were given 5-6 months of advance notification. We then wrote to them again in December, reminding them that please note that in February we'll be terminating. On the 11th of January, we wrote them another letter reiterating that, look, there's a month and a half left and we will be formally terminating certification. And accordingly, on the 1st of March, we issued the notice, and all we said was that they opted to terminate certification. And really, I think from 2019 to 2022, the amount of correspondences, we've personally been to their offices with senior management of the organization, trying to, and where this emanated from, and you asked your question, why would our person, after 20 years of strong association and support, mutual, decide to suddenly terminate certification with such organization? We came to learn.
Moulana, sorry, Maaf Moulana, can I just stop you there for a minute? The fact about there are two issues, and just like Moulana, I need some clarity on this issue with regard to Sanha and your position, because I know the question of dual certification has come up. That is the one issue. And the second issue, according to Frimax, is they've got proof of payment on record that they would be certified until September 22.
Okay.
Now, what is the position there?
We'll get to that as well. Look, dual certification, you will see on several products. I mean, in the market, some companies wish to be certified by two bodies. That's their prerogative. They're motivated. There are procedures involved. Those procedures are complied with. Conditions of dual certification is agreed upon so that we don't have a situation where they use a product that is not approved and say, well, you know what, you people must sort yourself out. You say it's not approved. That organization says it's approved. You say E120 is not approved. They say it's approved. You say gelatin is not approved from the source. They say it's fine. We as the industry don't know what to do. So therefore, it only is sensible that procedure is followed and the industry is aware that if you're opting for two certifications, there is criteria involved. And once you agree and undertake to comply with the criteria, yes, certainly. So there isn't a single letter that Frimax can produce or a single meeting minutes that they can submit to say that they requested to be certified by the watchdog or by NIHP, and we said, no, it's either us or the highway. Never, ever. Allah's witness, it's the Yom al-Jum'ah, it's the month of Shaban. Allah's witness to what I'm saying. And if there is evidence that they've written to us I will apologize publicly that I wasn't aware of it. But as far as my knowledge and the knowledge of senior management of the organization is concerned, they've never made that request. They said, this is our decision, and we don't want to have any association with Sanha because of a dispute that the CEO had with our late executive officer way back in 2018, 2019. And we even mentioned this to them, that why punish Sanha for a personal dispute that two friends had? But hey, so dual certification, yes, there are procedures. It's not something that is encouraged due to the reason that I mentioned to you earlier, but it is accommodated when there is persistence from the company that we've either got a market that requires both. We've got people in Cape Town that would insist on the Judicial Council certificate, and we've got KZN and Gauteng that insist on yours. Can't we please just subscribe to both? Okay, if you want to subscribe to both, then this is the protocol and procedure that you have to comply with. And thereafter, we give that permission. And you'll see that on various products, whether it's a multinational cheese manufacturer, whether it's a multinational snack manufacturer, or whether it's a little, industry based in Malaysia. These industry needs are accommodated. Coming to the second issue with regards to payment. Now, Brother Inayat, for an example, if the agreement is being terminated and you've paid your licensing fees for a year, which they do pay annually in advance, we wrote to them in October when they made payment and told them, we also then passed a credit note to say, listen, from March onwards, we're going to pass a credit note, which we did. We passed the credit note. We then requested their banking details so that we can deposit that money, and that the lady in the accounts department, Vanessa, will testify to this. We've written her emails, 1, 2, 3, 4 emails, several telephone calls, but they refused to even give us their banking details so that we could. But a credit note has been passed, and it is absurd to even allude that if I paid a fee, that's it. You can't do anything. It doesn't work like that. If you determined in 2019 that your association with Sanha has been terminated and cancelled, then follow due process. Get rid of the packaging. You've been given 2019, 2020, 2021. Now you want till 2024. It doesn't make sense. For anybody, it doesn't make sense in our. So therefore, we've with regards to both issues, it all surrounds on the use of the Sanha logo post your notice given to us of cancellation in 2019. You cannot do this. It is wrong.
Yeah. Moulana, just one other issue, and obviously time is of the essence, is when the announcement is made, and I'm just looking at a social media post talking about that this issue should not have been blown out of proportion, and what is the appropriate approach as far as Sanha is concerned when you are announcing the termination of existing contracts. Now, some would perceive that in terms of creating doubt, and the problem, according to this post, saying that it lies in the way where melodramatic announcements are being made, with alert printed in bold red and creating some sort of doubt as to the halal status of a product.
Now, Inayat, whether you use a green font, you use a blue font, you use a red font, whether you say alert, whether you say urgent notice, whether you say important announcement, anything that you say for people that have a problem is going to be problematic. Sanha is not a one-man band organization. There are 15 organizations that are represented. These organizations, and there's a trust board, there's a management board. They look at these issues and they determine. We've got an entire public relations department that are responsible for our announcements and our media, and they carefully look at these things. Now, you know what? If you say, listen, don't use the word alert, use the word notice. Somebody else tomorrow will say, don't use the word notice, use another word. Somebody will say, don't use the word, don't use a red color font, use a pink color font or a blue color font. These are semantics, Inayat. The message is clear. The client has opted to terminate certification. Period. We're not saying it. We've never said haram. And regarding our notices, and when we say certification is cancelled or terminated, ad nauseum, there are several publications, if you go onto our website, that clarifies that if we have withdrawn certification or if the client has opted to terminate certification, people should not misconstrue. And I say it again on air. Where Sanha terminates certification, unless we say that the outlet is no longer halal. And we say it. You'll see several of our notices on our social media pages where an outlet is no longer halal. We'll say it emphatically that the outlet is no longer halal. In the instance of this Frimax, they're Muslim brothers. We've not cast any aspersions of their halal status. We've simply said that they've opted to terminate certification. They have, they go and advertise that we now with the watchdog or with the NIHT or the Butchers Association, whoever they choose to be, they advertise it and life goes on. But to retaliate and then untruth and allegations and accusations, and I think here, we've got, as I read to you, there's more than a dozen or 20 odd communications and correspondences regarding the matter since we finding out in May 2019 at an audit, not even notified, but an auditor goes and he finds the product with a logo that is not supposed to be there. And then only you find out that, no, we've decided we're not going to be with the people anymore. We're going to be with the NIHT. Alhamdulillah. Look, at the end of the day, whether you want to be certified with us or anybody else, or you don't want to be certified at all, there's no coercion, there's no force. It's the right of the individual, Muslim or non-Muslim, to make that choice.
Gee, Moulana, Jazakallah khairan so much for that and for clarifying the position of Sanha on this matter. And as I mentioned, we had to give you the right of reply as well. But for now, Jazakallah once again.
I'd like to end, Inayat, just with one word. But please understand, we have Primax, the Essa family, reputable, well-known, philanthropic family that assist and support many, many Dini causes. There's no aspersions being cast against them by ourselves. It's just that, we needed to set this record straight, post their inaccuracies and untruths that was being perpetuated on social media. Otherwise, we had no intention to come on radio and, although we have a regular program on Radio Islam each week, we had not even mentioned anything there on our Radio Islam program because at the end of the day, we're not here to run down another Muslim person. So we request the dua of our listeners that Allah grant us all the sincerity of purpose, Allah grant us all cohesion and unity at all levels of our community, and may Allah protect us from being ensnared by the trap of shaitan in all our activities, personal, business, and recreational. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen, summa ameen. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Moulana Navlakhi joining us this morning. The Sanha statement that was issued with regard to the Frimax certification. With that, the time is just gone, 8:42. We are running a bit late. And when we come back, we'll be joined by Africa Muslims Agency. We're talking about their Ramadan campaign.